That was a Russian family fleeing Crimea, and they're not the only ones doing it. An exodus has begun. Russians are leaving Crimea in droves. Take a look at this. Major traffic jams, cars lining up on the highway, and these videos have been posted by Russians themselves. What were they doing in Crimea? Holidaying. Russians come here for a summer holiday to experience what they call the Crimean Riviera. But now they're in a hurry to leave, and that's because the war has come to Crimea. Major blasts rocked the region yesterday. Today, satellite images showed destroyed Russian jets. This looks like a targeted strike. A series of bombings destroyed a Russian base in Crimea. Moscow says it was just an ammunition explosion. But now there is growing evidence that Ukraine carried out this assault. And Russia has launched a deadly counterattack. Russian forces have conducted rocket strikes, and that too near a nuclear power plant. 14 civilians have died in this operation. World leaders fear much worse, though, a nuclear disaster. The United Nations Security Council has called an emergency meeting. This is our cover story tonight. We'll start with Crimea. Today we got a closer look at the Russian base in Crimea thanks to some satellites in space. I have some pictures for you. This is what Russia's Saki air base looked like before the blast. There was a runway and multiple aircraft surrounded by green spaces. This is what Russia's airbase looked like before. And this is what it looks like now. The entire base has been flattened, presumably by bombs. Warplanes have been blown up. At least 7 Russian jets look completely destroyed. There are large craters in the area. The leader of Crimea has shared the scale of the damage. His name is Sergei Aksionovas. He's a pro-Russian leader. This is what he said.
Unfortunately, we have 14 injured and 1 dead. We express our condolences to the families and loved ones. We have 62 multi-story buildings damaged. The inspection of individual residences is now being completed. There will be information about the damages there within a couple of hours. The explosions have been declared an emergency situation of regional significance. The number of people in temporary accommodation facilities is 252. They are all being provided with food. All accommodation standards are being met.
So one person in fact has died, 14 are injured, 62 multi-story buildings are damaged, more than 250 people have been moved to shelters. Remember, Russia claimed the damage was minimal, but these pictures and statements contradict those claims. The Russian base has suffered extensive damage. A simple explosion would not have done this. This, like I said, was a targeted strike, one that was most likely launched by Ukraine. Now remember, Kiev refuses to take responsibility, at least on the record. But off the record, senior Ukrainian military officials are talking, and we have some details. They say Ukraine's special forces were involved in this operation, and they were not working alone. Local resistance fighters in Crimea joined them in this mission. They're called partisans. They're like a group of guerrilla fighters. And this wasn't their first joint operation. Increasingly, Ukraine's forces are working with them. But they're involved only for specific missions. What kind of missions? Like targeted attacks behind enemy lines. So where have these partisans struck before? One of their recent operations was in Kherson. This is a major economic center in South Ukraine, or it used to be at least. Now Russia